Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Transform with Travel. I am so happy that you are here today listening. We are smack bang in the middle of our intentional travel series where we're going through all the ins and outs of how to plan a trip that is not just a trip, it's an experience that really aligns to greater goals, greater values, a season of life that you're in, and how to make sure that your trip is really giving you as much as you possibly can get out of it. Not saying that intentional travel has to be boring or that you're sitting around meditating all day, but it's about thinking about, okay, what are some of my bigger life goals that I have? Maybe it's health or purpose or relationship or career, any of all of the above. And ensuring that not every trip has to be this way, but maybe there's one trip a year that really helps you dive deeper into the goal that you have. And if you're wondering, like, what kind of goal would travel help with? Well, I encourage you to pause this episode, go back to the first episode of this series, which is all about how to set your travel intention, how to align your life goals with your travel experiences. The next episode after that, we go over strategically choosing your destination that will align with your goal. Last week's episode, we talked about how to build a balanced itinerary so you don't need a vacation from your vacation. And today's episode, we're talking about how to set boundaries on your trip. Whether you're traveling in a group, whether you're traveling solo, whether you're traveling specifically for wellness, there are lots of different ways that we can set boundaries so that, again, we don't fall into the trap of people pleasing, saying yes when we mean to say no. If you set an intention before the trip and then you get on the trip and you're like, oh, let's just go a little crazy, blow off some steam, like forget that intention existed, which is so it happens to all of us, right? You go on a trip and you're just like, oh, I'm not going to go for that walk like I said I was going to do every day. I just want to lay on the beach. Like there's certain boundaries that come along with planning an intentional trip. So, we're going to dive a little bit into that today. We're going to first start talking about setting boundaries when you're traveling in a group. So, whether that's a group of girlfriends, whether that's a multi-generational family trip, whether it's a corporate trip, ensuring and understanding who are all the people that are coming with you, all the different personalities. Depending on your intention of that trip yourself, it might really affect who you're inviting on that trip with you. If you need a trip where you're really trying to focus on maybe going alcohol free, maybe you're not going to invite the person who's going to be partying till 4 a.m. every single morning. Maybe you're trying to have a trip where you and your partner are really diving deep and trying to like connect that intimacy again, reignite that sense of adventure. Maybe you're not going to bring your kids on that trip. So trying to have a little bit of an idea of who, like based on your intention, who you're inviting and who you're not inviting. When you're traveling in a group, let's say for the sake of this example, we're going to talk about going on a girls group, a girls trip. There's always one leader, right? There's always one group leader. Being very clear and very vocal, like, okay, I'm okay with taking the lead on this trip, but I need support on XYZ things. So making it very clear that like it's not just this one person, that it always gets put on, the responsibility always gets put on this one person. And if you are this one person like me, you know what that's like is someone's got to take control, no one else is going to do it. So you're going to take it and potentially you might feel a little bit resentful for having to do everything. So being clear, being like, hey, I don't mind taking control of this trip, but I need help on someone needs to find, 3 or 4 hotel options. The other person needs to find 3 or 4 activity options. Someone needs to be on restaurant and nightlife duty. That way it's getting shared amongst the group, but you're just kind of like the project manager bringing all the pieces together. Being very clear on that. And understanding when you're the leader of that group that not everyone's going to be okay with every activity you propose, understanding that there's group activities, there's individual activities, and just being very clear about how to split those tasks of research. And then also when you're on the trip, let's say you're staying in a big house together, determining like how are you splitting expenses? Are you using an app like Splitwise? How are you going to split the chores? Okay, you 3 are going to be on breakfast duty and we're going to be on dinner duty. So again, it's not the same person who just happens to be a good cook who's cooking every single meal. Or maybe that person loves to cook and hates to do dishes, so you let them cook every single meal and you say, "Don't worry, I got dishes the whole trip." Being very clear about what are the things that I'm willing to do and what are the things that I need help with, especially if you're going to be the leader of the group. If you're not typically the leader of the group, making sure that you're acknowledging the person who's taking lead on that trip and saying, hey, how can I support you? What are things behind the scenes that I can help with? And being clear about who's doing what. When we're talking about traveling in like a multi-generational style trip, typically what happens is the mom or the parents don't end up doing a lot of the things that they want to do. They have to cater to the grandparents. They definitely have to cater for the kids. Maybe there's teenagers involved. And then all of a sudden, you've planned this $10,000 trip and not a single activity is built for you as the mom or the dad. So looking at your itinerary and almost like color coding, okay, this is a kid activity. This is something we're going to do for my parents. This is something that I'm going to do for myself. And looking from like a color coded perspective, sounds crazy, but I promise, seeing how little that you've actually planned for yourself and understanding like, wait, have we gone too far for the kids? Have we catered too much for the parents? And making sure that everyone feels confident in the amount of activities that you get. So you don't get to the end of the trip and people are resentful. People are like, huffing things under their mouths, like muttering things under their mouths. Trust me, these things happen. So a couple of the boundaries set as traveling in a group. Let's say you're traveling solo. So again, your intention might have guided you towards a solo trip. Maybe you decided with your intention that having other people around wouldn't be supportive and you're really excited to explore this opportunity to travel solo. So before you even travel solo, if you've never traveled by yourself before, I highly recommend in your own hometown, going out to dinner by yourself, going on activities by yourself, go to the movies by yourself, and just start to build that muscle memory of being by yourself. Because if you've never done it before and all of a sudden you're in a foreign country and you're feeling a little out of your depths and now you're at a restaurant by yourself, you might want to pull the plug on the trip, or you might feel really uncomfortable. You might end up staying in the hotel and ordering Uber Eats the whole time, which we don't want you to do. So start practicing going out on your own and feeling comfortable. Bring a book, bring a journal. When you're traveling solo, also setting boundaries for yourself in the sense of safety. Like, okay, I'm not going to, be out at night by myself after 8 p.m. I'm going to make sure that I'm hyper aware of who I'm speaking with and who I'm having conversations with. Things that you can also do is choosing smaller boutique hotels where you have access to the concierge and the owners a little bit in depth. They might have community dinners, choosing like women-focused retreat groups. Those are great ways to travel solo, but also feel the support of a group. And then lastly, when we're talking about wellness travel, the rise of wellness travel is unbelievable. It's unparalleled in terms of any other type of travel in terms of growth. So people are traveling, they're going alcohol free, they're doing digital detoxes, they're going on silent retreats, they're choosing early dinners and going to bed earlier. Like it's just all of these like things to help amplify your health. And so if you are going on a trip specifically for a type of wellness or health related goal, understanding what your boundaries are around that. So I'm going to use the example of going alcohol free. You might have decided that recently you're reevaluating your relationship with alcohol and now you're going to go on your first trip and maybe you're with a group and maybe they're not big partiers, but there's going to be wine at dinner. That there's probably going to be a pina colada at the pool, and that's not something that you're necessarily used to going traveling and not drinking. So being very clear up front, like to the group that you're with or perhaps to the partner that you're traveling with, what your goals are with this trip with not drinking alcohol, and being clear, like, I will go to dinner, but I'm not going to go do the bar after and have nightcaps, and just being clear about what that boundary is for you. Letting people in on your goals. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, like maybe one of your friends, if you have a really good friend, they'll come up to you and say, hey, like, do you want a soda water? Can I get you a non-alcoholic beer? And so the more that you can let people in on your goals, the more that you have a support system to support you on your trip. Things like digital detoxes. Do you want to spend less time on your phone? Are you just going to not use social media while you're traveling? What are those boundaries that you're going to set for yourself? Write them down, be clear about them. These are just a couple examples, but it just shows like how much goes into these trips that could be highly intentional and really take that mindfulness, that intentionality to the next level. So next week, we're going to talk about integration and how to bring that intention into your pre-trip, into your during the trip, and into your post-trip, and how integrating your travel experiences allows you to bring what you've learned while you're traveling into your life at home. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'll see you next week. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're feeling on fire and lit up to start planning the bucket list adventure you're craving, let's work together. I'm here to manage all of the hassle of planning, hand select your options specifically for you, and give you the inside scoop that no AI itinerary can give you. Click the link in the show notes to look through our pricing and packages. You're one click away from the adventure of a lifetime. This is your reminder to keep on exploring.